Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, good afternoon. Welcome to the Growth Conversations by TGN. TGN is the Growth Network. TGN is the Growth Network. So at TGN is basically an organization that is meant to help bring young businesses together, basically businesses and professionals together in order to foster mutual growth. So we learn from each other and see how best we can connect with each other, learn from each other, and help each other grow our businesses and our careers. And on every Tuesday, we do this. Oh, forgive me, eh? MTN and their wonderful. Uh, yeah, so I think we are still live. Yes, let me add the slides now to it,
Okay.
and let's see. Okay, yes. So we have this. So let me just do the introduction again and we set off. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, so sorry for we had a few network issues. You know, it happens at times. Thank you so much for being with us, for joining us this afternoon on Growth Conversations. And in this live session, what we do is that we bring on an entrepreneur who would come to share their experiences with us, their story, how they started their business, the challenges they faced, and what lessons they picked up along the way. Some probably failures they had, how it impacted their businesses, what lessons they've learned, and what insights and strategies that they can share with us to also help us improve our businesses. So today in this session, we are privileged to have a very um, ambitious, fine young woman who is going to share with us her story. And I wouldn't really introduce her myself. I'll let her introduce herself. Then we begin the conversations as we go along. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Miss. Is it Miss or Mrs.? How should we go? Mrs.
Yes, Mrs.
Yes, so Mrs. Abina Obuba. Did I pronounce it right?
Yes, that's it.
Okay, that's great. That's great. So Mrs. Abina Obuba is our guest on Growth Conversations this afternoon. Abina, you're welcome to Growth Conversations.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so Abina, what we would already we have a few minutes gone due to the network challenges, but we are so eager to know a bit about you and your business. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself and also your business?
Okay. Hi, listeners. Hi, everyone watching this afternoon. My name is Abuna Okuba, as he has already introduced me. Um,
Yeah.
I am the owner and CEO of Akatasia Brides. We're a bridal shop located in Jowlu, Accra, and we sell wedding dresses. That's our core, business. That's what we do. We sell wedding dresses. We're a bridal shop and we stock wedding dresses. And we also do customized wedding dresses for brides. We also do kente gowns and we also
Okay.
stock some bridal accessories. And we target the Ghanaian women that is ready to get married, and we target those brides that want beautiful one in a kind, wedding gowns. And we've been doing this for quite some time. We've been doing this for about 10 years now, and yeah, that's basically what we do. We sell wedding dresses, occasion wear, kente gowns, and we stock accessories as well.
Okay, that's great. So you said you're located at Jowlu, right?
Yes, we are in Joburg.
Yes, and so your target market is basically women who are ready to get married.
Yes.
Okay, and yes, you have special offers. So do you have any? Because these days, you know, when you look at the economy, of course, people want to have, I won't say lavish weddings, but very nice weddings, and especially whatever they are going to put on to look
Mhm.
good and memorably. Yes, but at times too, people would really want to get married, but the economy, the pocket and stuff. Do you have any sort of affordable packages, or your niche is really a bit on a high end, like you are properly niched, or do you have any sort of packages like that for people who would want
Yes.
to
So,
patronize your
so
services?
yes, we do. So we have a wider, a wider range of people that we 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 provide our services to.
Okay.
Um, for a normal working class bride, um,
Yeah.
can't afford us. Yes. Um, and we do high end luxury stuff. So we are open to service, someone who can afford a wedding gown, basically, for now. Because
Okay.
there's a wider range to wedding gowns when it comes to pricing and all. But that's why I was talking about customized wedding dresses. We have our
Yeah.
brides coming in telling us, oh, this is my budget, and this is what I can afford. And
Yeah.
we are able to look at that and work with that price margin. It depends actually, because we are also trying not to provide just we are trying to provide you something which is high quality.
Mm-hmm.
So yes. So but we do work with brides that are working with tight budgets quite a lot. As you said,
Okay.
how the economy is faring
Yeah.
now. Yeah. So we do work with brides that are have tight budgets. We do.
Yes, that's nice. So if you are watching us and you are a woman getting ready to, tie the knot and do the ceremonies, and also if you're a man, okay, you're getting ready to do your wedding or that ceremony, then you can just contact Abna Obuba, which is Akatasia
Right.
bridals, right? Yes,
Yeah,
brides,
brides.
brides.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, yes, Akatasia brides. They will sort you
Yes.
out simply. So just talk to them. At the end of the session, the conversations, we are going to give their contact out so that you can always call them. Whatever arrangements you want to have with them, they are more than ready to help you out so that you can get the uh, memorable, loving wedding, okay, that you need to have. Yes. Okay, so Abina, tell us how long have you been in business, and how has business been? The market is it a very is it a growing market for bridals, or is it a stagnant market? Like it's more like a plateau. It's always a constant amount of markets or orders or customers coming in, or is growing, or is it a seasonal market? How really is your line of business is? How long have you been in business, and how is the nature of the business like?
So I've been in business for about 10 years now.
Wow.
Akitasia Bride. Yes.
Wow.
Actually, my business started as a makeup brand. Funny enough.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
So the bridal business has right now it's growing really, really fast. It
Whoa.
started and just a few players were in there, but now people have understood the how
Yeah.
well, there's a lot of money to be made in the industry. So
Mm-hmm.
there are lots of people coming in, and there's more money to be made. I feel
Mm.
there's more money to be made. Um, I've done this for 10 years, and it goes up and it comes out. It's seasonal, as you said.
Yeah.
So we have there's the bridal season for what I've studied so far. There's a bridal season where there are lots of brides. People tend to get married more towards the end of the year and early part of during the new year.
Wow, I
So
see.
yeah, there is the bridal season. I
Yeah.
believe that starts from July. That's when the bride, gets interested and, they start to come in quite a lot, making inquiries and all that. And then most people get married towards, in
The
December.
end of the year.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So that's when there are lots of occasions and people just want to, close down on things and everything. So, and then people to get married somewhere in February, probably because it's a month of love. And yeah, and then it starts to die down somewhere in April, also because of the rains. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, when it starts to rain, there are fewer occasions happening. So people don't tend to get married during that time. Yeah. So there is a bridal season. Um, and that's how it works. During that time, you do your marketing a lot in the dry seasons, and then you push everything most of the activities will be happening in the bridal season. Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. That's interesting. So the love season, the bridal season, late in the year,
Yeah.
then somehow it pops up again in February. But the
Mhm.
associate period is the January and from
Yeah.
the April to that.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right, I get it. So did you can you tell us your background actually? You said you started as a makeup person or as a makeup business, all
Mhm.
right, but you've improved to really become a mainstay bridal company.
Yeah.
Now, did you undergo any training before you started, or it came just by, let's say, you just happened to know how to do it? Or what did you go to? What is your educational background and how is it linked to your business? Because most of the time, we have issues where people feel that you really have to study something before you can build your own business. Okay, so what is your educational background like? What is your background?
Well, my background has totally nothing to do with bridal fashion.
Yes.
I did chemical engineering in
Whoa.
fintech in the at the
KNUST.
yeah KNUST, and I was
Oh, I
working
see.
full time. I was working full time for a power company, um, and I was working in business development. So that gave me the skills that I required to start my own business. Um,
Wow.
and the makeup that I started learning, I was doing that for fun, just playing around it, in my
As
spare
a
time
hobby.
as a hobby. Yes, I
Okay.
was learning it on YouTube, learning it on other platforms, seeing how other makeup artists were doing it, and I was just playing around with it. At the time when I started, there wasn't a lot of makeup artists, so that's when I started, and I was learning how to do makeup, and I was having fun doing it. And I just, I don't know, I've always had that. Um, Love for doing business someday. I knew that even if I was working full time, I was doing something on my own. I was definitely going to start a business. I knew that
Mm-hmm.
at the back of my mind because I was selling. Even after the uni, I was selling, and I was selling my own earrings. I'll go around places selling earrings, and because I didn't have any job right after uni, so I decided to, do my own thing. So I knew I would set up something for myself,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
I just needed to, come up with something, and then I came up with the makeup. I realized it was something I loved doing. I loved doing it on myself. I started doing it for my friends, my family, and I realized I could turn this. Can you give me a moment, please? I'm
Oh,
working
that's
from
fine.
home
Yes,
today, so
yes.
I have my kids coming.
Oh, that's
A
fine. Yeah,
moment,
take care of them. That's fine.
yes, a moment, just a sec.
All right. Yeah, so guys, as Abna was saying, it's interesting. Most of the time, it doesn't really matter what you learned in school. Okay, at times we are made to think when we are young or younger that you have to really your line of business or your line of job has to be directly linked with what you learn in school. You see, it's about survival. Of course, at times it really helps if what you studied at the university or at the senior high school level is what you are using. But basically, personally, I think that what you study at the high school or the university should give you a basis, okay, a basis as to giving you the footing, like more like a springboard towards life, actually. So, whatever principles that you learn from whatever program you're doing at the university or the high school should be able to help you one way or the other in whichever business you find yourself. Of course, for instance, I did physics at the university, KNUST. So I'm supposed to have continued to do physics, maybe a physics lecturer or doing some serious calculations at NASA or SpaceX or whatever. But now I'm doing business because of one or two reasons, and I'm quite good at what I do. Okay, because of the strength, the basis. Okay, like the life principles that physics fed me with. So Abna is back. So Abna, thank you so much for sharing that with us. So I was just saying that people should take inspiration from what you just shared with us. Okay, you're a chemical engineer, but now you are the CEO of Akatasia Bridals. You understand? It's interesting. You mentioned earlier that you were working full time and
Mhm.
the makeup was more like a hobby to you before you
Mhm.
added and upgraded to Akatasia Bridals. That's an interesting thing. So, at what point did you really decide that, okay, let me do this as a business? It's time for me to be my own boss and start my own enterprise, my own business. What was the turning point?
So the turning point came when I realized, okay, so I was putting in a lot. So as I said earlier, I was
Yeah.
doing the makeup, and then I was doing the makeup, but then I had children. I had my first daughter, and
Okay.
then after having my daughter, I realized um, I needed something that would would give me the flexibility to be able to be with them. And I realized that listen now, someone just made a comment.
Yes.
Yeah.
S&M says, I love you, Akitasia. Akitasia love you too, S&M.
Listen now,
Yeah.
thank you. So I started, so as I was saying, I had my first daughter, and I realized that I needed something that was very flexible, that would
Mm-hmm.
enable me work at the same time, um be able to cater for the children at the same time, be able to juggle work life and balance. What I was doing
Yeah.
earlier was a bit time consuming, and I needed to make, like that switch. So I was doing the makeup, and I realized that with doing the makeup, you have to be there personally. That's one thing about makeup. You have to be
Mm-hmm.
there, make doing their makeup. If you decide to give, if maybe you are tied up with a baby or something like that, you have an emergency, you'll not be able to do the makeup for someone. You
Yeah.
can't substitute with, another person you've trained. I realized they didn't want anybody else but me. And that
Mm-hmm.
was something that I wouldn't be able to, do at that time when I had my child. So I realized that doing the makeup was actually good, but I realized the money that I'll be making will just be tied to um
Your
will just
time, your
yes,
personal, your
it will
presence, your
just
time.
tied to
Yeah.
my time and my presence. So I realized I needed to get something different, maybe more of a services based, or something that I could, capitalize on people and expand. So that's when I also fell in. Whenever I do the makeup for people, I realized that,
Mm-hmm.
at that time when you do makeup for people, you would have to dress them up in their wedding gowns and all. And
Yeah.
I started dressing them up in the wedding gowns. I realized I enjoy doing that because, when you do the makeup, you are done, you put on the dress, you have this, joyous feeling
Yeah. Yeah.
about,
Yeah.
how the whole thing has come together. So I fell in love with the dresses too.
Yeah.
Actually didn't go into fashion because I was going to do fashion. I went into fashion because I wanted to actually make my own clothes.
Whoa.
Yeah, funny enough, I wanted to make my own clothes. Then slowly, um, I just fell in love with the wedding gowns.
Mm-hmm.
So I just started, importing dresses, making the dresses whenever I could for brides. They would come in, and then I would just, talk to them. And I realized, nah, I needed time. I needed to put in, because I realized at that time I could make a lot from the business. So I decided to put in my all. That's when I stopped full time and stepped in
Mm-hmm.
to do this. And I realized at that time that there were there were bridal shops, but there
Mm-hmm.
weren't a bridal shop. There wasn't a bridal shop that someone can walk in and have that great full experience of enjoying getting their wedding gown. When I got my actually what inspired Akatasia Bride was my own wedding. I traveled to
Wow.
get my wedding gown, and then when I wore my dress, the way the bridal assistants made me feel was just, amazing. I realized that thing was not here. Customer
Mhm.
service in general was not something we talked about in Ghana. It wasn't
Yeah.
really a nice thing here. So I realized that I could, I just fell in love. I was inspired, fell in
Wow.
love with just dressing up brides and making them feel like, they are special on that day. So that's why I started the business. And I
Oh,
knew
that's
because actually I didn't start mostly because of the profits I was going to get and all that. It was just because I realized people in Ghana needed to understand. I just needed to make people feel how I felt on my day.
mm-hmm.
You know? Yeah. And that's how I started and decided to just,
Yeah,
give
I think there's a great lesson there. There's a great lesson that people need to we all need to take note of. Yes, we all need to take note of because most of the time people get into business because of the money. But from learning from mentors, all the great people who've been successful in business, what everyone talks about is it's not really about the money. The money is sort of a byproduct, okay,
yeah.
of you solving a problem. And you started Akitasia by wanting to give more to people like yourself because of the experience you had, and you felt that okay, you could bring that exceptional customer service within that industry to people in Ghana. And once you're able to do that well, solve a lot of problems for your target market, then you're going to be rewarded with the money. So I think that entrepreneurs of our kind, everyone watching us, should really take note of this. That's why Steve Jobs said some time ago that love what you do, okay, or do what you love. The love bit is very, very important. Without it, I would also say it goes with passion because when the challenges come, it is the love for the thing that will keep you going. When the challenges come, the difficult times come, and they will come, whether you like it or not. It is the love you have for it, and it's the passion that keeps you going. So, thank you so much for sharing this with us. So, I would like to also find out. So, the makeup and the bridals, you do makeup in addition to the dresses, or you focus just on the dresses, or is a full package?
Okay, so
Just
for now
briefly tell us. Yes.
we are purely a bridal shop. We don't provide the makeup services anymore. We are purely
Oh,
focused. Yes, as I told you, when the kids start coming in, having to do it
yeah, yeah,
yourself when it comes to the
yeah,
makeup was getting a bit difficult. And
yeah,
that market too got really saturated. And
yeah.
I don't know. I think when I fell in love with the wedding gowns,
Mm-hmm.
it was it for me. It felt like I found the purpose and the vision for the business. So I dropped the makeup
Yes,
entirely.
Akosia Okreku is saying that that's my girl. Proud of you. Yes. So yes. So tell us what can you share with us some of the challenges you faced in the 10 years of building this business? What are some of the challenges you faced, and how did you deal? How did you overcome these challenges so that everyone, we people can also learn from it? Probably, one key purpose for this growth conversations, okay, is to be able to share what you've been through with other people. Probably what you've been through and you were able to overcome it. Someone else might be battling with a similar situation. So if you share it with us here, someone might be helped currently facing a similar situation. So please tell us, what are some of the key challenges you faced in your business and how did you deal with them?
When we get to the challenges bit, I always start with if you're an entrepreneur, you decide to become an entrepreneur, you should know
Mm-hmm.
that challenges are going to be one of the things you cannot avoid at all. Um, even if you have a lot of in capital starting the business, and you have the push and the drive and everything seems to go on, there will be
Yeah.
bumps along the way. There will be bumps in your business along the way, so you should strap yourself for it. I believe that that's why a lot of businesses do not even get to um stay on
One
for too
year.
long. Yes, when they
Yeah.
are faced with challenges or anything like that, they just give up and they move on. But if you acknowledge that challenges is going to be one of the things that you will be facing right from the onset, your business will at least have, I think, a 50% chance of surviving. When you start a business, I always believe that it's more like you are jumping off a cliff and not knowing where you're going to land, how the wind is going to blow you. You don't even know where, it's going to, even though you might have a plan, you still do not
Yeah.
know. It's just like life. You do not know where it's going to take you.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, for my business, we it started really well, and challenges coming in and out of the business was more like ups and down. And I believe that with the economy we are in now, every business will be probably facing challenges at some point.
Yeah.
The first challenge that I faced with my business that I felt was really very significant was in 2020, when most bridal shops had to close down. Um,
COVID.
yes, most bridal shops, most businesses, most places of business and all that had to close down, and a lot of income was not coming in at all.
Yeah.
We had to rely on social media. We had to rely on online marketing to be able to sell our products, and even that, it was extremely challenging. That was one
Yeah.
of the great setbacks. Remember, because of the lockdowns we're having, a lot of businesses, a lot of weddings had to stop entirely because we couldn't even have
Mm-hmm.
weddings in the first place. So that means zero income was coming in, and
Yeah.
I had workers, people that were in my shop at that time. We had about 4 people that was working with us, and I had to let all of them go, because one, there was zero income coming. At some point, I decided to support them with what I had at that time to support them, but it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough
Mm-hmm.
because I think the whole thing stretched to about a whole year and more,
Yeah.
where there was no income coming in. There were no weddings, and we had to, I would say, pause. And in that time, that was when I was rethinking what the business had to do to survive. So I
Mm-hmm.
realized that was the time that I had to do a lot of marketing online, and that's what I was doing, and it helped the business survive. I also, so number one, that was what I was doing. First, relying solely on online marketing, and trying so hard to push the business awareness still there in the minds of people, even though there were no occasions, nothing running at that time. That's my first point of call, because then if the shop was closed, I will still
Yeah.
be able to reach out to someone in the US who was able to get married at that time, or someone in the Caribbean who wants to get married. You could ship out dresses to them and all that. So
Wow.
online was more of our storefront at that time, and that was the first place that I started to tackle this kind of challenge. um, Number two, what we did at that time was, um, to look inwardly how we can grow, even though the shop was closed. So that was the time that we had to draw plans out on what to do to make the business still remain in the minds of people.
Yeah.
you know yeah. And then financially, it was the time to plan and see if all of this passes away, how are we able to revive ourselves, get back on our feet? Because at that time, it wasn't even the best time to take a loan. When a business is down like that, it wouldn't be the
Mm-hmm.
best time to go for a loan to revive. Nothing, everything was down. at that time.
Yeah.
So that is the best time to strategize, to think, what should I do to bring on more customers after all this dies down, you know. So that was how I was able to, withstand the storm. I believe it was a storm at that time. When things
Yeah.
passed, they started, coming up. We picked up, and actually we didn't lose our customers at all.
Hmm.
Clients, I would say we didn't lose any at all because we still advertised in that period. And then number three, I was looking at a lot of the things. I believe that we can ride on a business through referrals from old
Hmm.
clients. So I had people that had been brides of ours, past brides, and they were the people that held the business after because of the experience and the kind of quality customer service we gave them. They were able to come back. They were able to still recommend us even after all this, passed and died, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say number one is relying solely on online marketing at that time. Number two was to strategize in that time and not, be phased by the fact that this is happening. Should I close the business entirely? That was the time to re-strategize and think which way to go. And number three was relying solely on recommendations. So a business is built on, the kind of um, branding that you do. And in the
Yeah.
minds of people, whenever they think of wedding gowns, all they think about is Akatasia.
Yes. The reputation you build
Yes.
in the minds of people.
So
Yes.
the past reputation you build will be what will hold you even during the storm. Because then
Yeah.
after that, challenge has passed, you probably might not even have money to do online sales and all that,
Hmm.
but then you would
Hmm.
get people still recommending you. So that
Yeah.
that I would say those were the three things that helped me in that time. Yeah.
This is great, great that you're sharing with us. Equia for Natural is saying that wow, you were thinking global. Yes, it's quite interesting when you mentioned that during the COVID, during those difficult times, you were thinking of serving customers outside Ghana, and not
Yes.
for any kind of product, but wedding dresses. That
Yes.
was quite something. Yes,
Yeah.
it was quite an interesting thing you did. It's wonderful. Yes, because well, it's lovely. And you also mentioned that you had to also rely on online marketing to serve customers. You were indicating that actually you did not lose any sort of client,
Mm-hmm.
which is quite unique because personally, and I believe that a lot of businesses lost customers and clients during the
Mm-hmm.
COVID times.
Mm-hmm.
So for you to confidently say that you didn't have loss of any clients because you were pushing the online machine, you were
Mm-hmm.
advertising, and you were even targeting outside Ghana,
Mm-hmm.
it,
So
it
what I meant
meant
for
that.
not losing clients, for us,
Mhm.
we have, I wouldn't say, we don't have a lot of people returning. When people get married, that's it for them. They just move
Yeah,
on.
yes,
Yes.
yes, yes,
So when
yes.
I mean we retained our customers, we have a certain group of customers that's
Mhm.
coming for dresses that they could, wear for occasions, and they keep coming back to us. So we have
Oh,
that group
okay,
of customers
okay,
as well. Those were the ones we did not lose. But we went
okay.
totally down on customers that would come in for wedding gowns because, of course, the of the lockdown and all, people weren't getting married as usual. But then we still had to think of ways to still sell, because you can't
Yes.
let wedding dresses sit in a shop for one whole year and no one is
Mhm,
buying them.
mhm, mhm,
Yes.
mhm.
So that was when we started to look on online market. We're selling. There were still court wedding. We had to look at other ways of
Wow.
selling. So there were still court weddings going on. There were still, people were getting married in the home and all. You have to make kente dresses and all. People were getting married at home in these small ceremonies. So we had to push on different types of products to people so that they see what they can do. Instead of having a public big wedding, they could have smaller weddings. And this was not happening just in Ghana. They were happening in Nigeria, some in the UK, and all that. Yes.
Yes, I mean this conversation we are having is value packed, okay? It's lesson packed. If only you are watching and you really take notes, okay? Because I can say that you are a business, you were quite resilient, okay, during those times because it didn't matter what was really happening. It didn't matter what the external forces were. You still were able to adapt one way or the other, innovate to still remain relevant. So I think that every business owner watching should uh, take it that no matter the situation that comes, no matter the challenges that you go through, you have to be resilient. Okay. You don't have to let the external challenges that are coming to hit your business get you down. You should always think of a way that you can make up even in your difficulty. As Ryan Holiday has his book, I think it's Ryan Holiday, the obstacle is the way. So whatever challenge that you have, you can go through that challenge and still become successful. Now, there's something that just crossed my mind when you mentioned you were targeting customers online during those periods. Have you ever thought, this is just by the way, have you ever thought a time will come where there could be online weddings? It may be a silly idea, but have you
It's
ever
not
thought of
actually a
that?
silly idea at all. And that was actually happening. People were
It,
getting
it
married
was.
online. Yeah, there were
Oh,
online
really?
weddings. Yes, a lot of them. I saw a lot of them happening, and
Wow.
this will become a thing. I know it is because everything is now
So then what if we are having online weddings, then what happens to the food, Charlie? The food that we go, the music
we'll
and
probably
all.
be
Charlie,
delivering the
wouldn't
food.
it be boring?
We'll probably be delivering the food to them in their homes. I don't
Ah,
know.
yeah, that one too could work. That one too could work. Oh, that's interesting.
But the way to
That's
cut down costs, 2020, there were a lot of online weddings,
I
Zoom
did not
weddings. Oh, it
notice.
was.
Oh, okay, okay. So, Abna, what has been the most difficult decision you've had to make as a business owner? And how did it shape the future of your business? What has been the most difficult decision that you've had to make as a business owner? And how did this decision really impact the future of your business? If there's anything, a decision like that. If there wasn't any decision like that too, you can just tell us.
So I think I think for a business, a growing business, still growing even after 10 years, it's
Mm-hmm.
still growing. I think what I've had to make a lot of difficult decisions for Akitasia Brides in terms of having to whether I had to stay as a bride. First decision, I'll say difficult decision, was to stop the makeup, not to stop the makeup. It has a lot to do with the services that I provided. And I
Yeah.
believe that was one of the difficult decisions because you cut off a whole service line from your business and you don't even know how it's going to impact, you know, the entire revenue of the business as a whole. And that was one of
Yeah.
the first things. And I think even right now, that's one of the major things I am going through. You always have to come back and remember the reason why you started the business in the first place. When you are faced with making decisions, that's when it's so important to start with a vision for your business, start with the objectives of why you started the business in the first place. And so whatever you do, you always come back and remind yourself, why did I even start this in the first place? And it will make making those decisions very, very easy for you. Right now, we are going through such a phase right now. There's a lot of competition in the sector
Yeah.
right now, the bridal sector right now. Lots of people making wedding dresses, a lot of people making dresses, you know. So I think most of the decisions for me right now is being able to strategize and position myself in such a way that Akitasia remains unique. And
Mm-hmm.
I believe that it, as I said earlier, it boils down to why did you start the business in the first place? Is those are those objectives going to still remain? And um, in doing all this, is it going to affect Actasia in any way? Will it shut it down? Will it make me, not let the business grow at all? Or it's also going to go in the other direction. It's also going to
Yeah.
be boom and we're going to get a lot of revenue because of the positioning. So right now, the challenge I'm facing right now greatly is coming from positioning, business positioning because of the competition we are getting right now. The challenge I'm facing right now is positioning and positioning ourselves in such a way that we become extremely unique. And whenever Akitasia, the name is mentioned, we will
Yeah.
be known for that particular thing so that we can remain in business. Yeah.
That's
So
great to share.
that's
Yeah.
kind of the challenge, yes, I'm facing
Yeah.
right now. We've
That's
started with a strategy that will help us set ourselves apart.
That's great. That's great. So, if any for anyone who wasn't really quite following, what I just quickly want to summarize is that, one of the key, the most difficult decisions you've had to make in the life of this business is to really focusing of the most relevant parts or components of the business. So, the ability to say no to certain interesting, seemingly interesting ideas,
Yeah.
okay, and focusing
Mhm.
on the key ones that really matter. And
Mhm.
also, you mentioned about your unique proposition, okay,
Mhm.
your differentiation, or let's say your unique positioning in the industry. You mentioned competition, and you just said that the competition is quite a tough market because there are lots of people out there, either bridal makeup industry, the bridal industry, and all that. So you're just working on your strategy, how you're going to stay relevant, how you're
Yeah.
going to differentiate yourself with respect to the service you're rendering to people. And yes, I was just about to ask you, how are you coping with the competition? I don't know if
Mhm.
you have something to share on that, but from what you just said, you also
Mhm.
presented it as a challenge
Mhm.
that you're facing in this current state of the business, if I'm right,
Yeah.
because the competition is tough. So you're working on how best. Let me just quickly find out. Do you have a digital strategy for your business? When I say a digital strategy, right now the world is digital, going digital. It started really seriously during the COVID times. Now is way up at there.
Mhm.
How you reach, looking at how intense your competition is, do
Mhm.
you have a digital strategy, or you are now planning to have something like that that is going to push you? So let's say your websites, your digital media, your emailing systems, how you reach out to people, clients inside Ghana, outside Ghana, your social media and all that. Or you are now, which stage are you in your digital strategy to make up for uh, the kind of intense competition you have?
So as I said, earlier, I think you've answered my question already. But so um, what is happening right now is we are undergoing a whole new facelift for the
Okay.
business. As I said, positioning. It has a lot to
Mhm.
do with positioning. So we are working on the business strategy for digital marketing.
Okay.
And it is already, we have some sort of strategy already that it
Okay.
runs. Our whole entire business runs online now. So even though we
Okay.
have a physical shop and we do have some ads in town and all that, we everything is totally based online now. We run based 100% of our sales comes through our social media channels. So we have a plan in place on how, when it comes to the frequency of our posts, when it comes to how we respond to people that engage with us online. Everything now is online and it's 100%. Fashion is on the move now. Things have moved real fast now. So, and everything is online now. We couldn't even think of right now, TV is not even part of it because if you look at the lead generation for the business and all that, everything is running through social media now. And that is where the strategy is for us now. If we have a plan for online marketing, I'm not even looking at websites, because a lot of people or our customers we know want to engage through social media. They want to see the things in video, in motion, and being interactive. So social media is our first point of call. TikTok, Instagram. So we already have some sort of strategy in place on how, as I said, we post and all that, and
Okay.
how we interactive with our customers. But as I said, we are going through a whole new kind of facelift where we are changing branding in terms of how things look and bringing on the website. We once had it running and we had some challenges, so it's down now. So we will be
Okay.
bringing it back up, and then because a lot of it is customized wedding dresses. People come in, we take their measurements and all that. So they need a particular place where they can have that uniqueness, have that personalized
Yeah.
service
Yeah.
provided for them. So we don't want something
Yeah.
that will bridge that gap. Okay. Something that will cause the gap becoming wider. Um, so right now we are looking at WhatsApp. At first, we weren't given the opportunity for people to talk to us. It was just through Instagram. It takes time for people to talk to us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If we were using TikTok, it still takes time for us to respond on when people. So we are trying to let everybody get the personalized experience through WhatsApp. You message us,
Exactly.
you get a
Yeah.
quick reply because, as I said, there is competition. So people send us messages on WhatsApp. We give them quick replies. We schedule video calls with them and make sure that they get that interaction, and it's quick, it's personalized, and they get to see how it feels like getting married. And we want the whole process to be pain free, stress
Yeah.
free. No, they just contact us, tell me what you want, we just give it to you.
All that you've mentioned should go into a master class because everything you've mentioned, seriously, yes, because we TGN has a sister company that is into digital marketing. So,
Okay.
for instance, probably all the guests we bring on this show, we're going we I think that we can have an arrangement where they can provide some sort of tailored kind of service to help boost your digital strategy and everything. So that
Okay.
will, we can have that discussion some other time. But what I want to mention to people viewing us now is the power that WhatsApp marketing really has. I've tested it some time ago. You know, you can have website is good. You should have a website.
Mhm.
Okay, that's what we that's why we have the sales and the marketing. So the
Mhm.
website is really great for the marketing, but the sales too, you really need a system like your sales funnels and really WhatsApp marketing. So if you're a person who, to all those people out there who really likes uh, running Facebook campaigns or some other campaigns, try uh, like collecting your leads through WhatsApp. It gives you, it's a direct thing. You can tackle doubts that people have directly,
Mhm.
personal experience with them. And as you just mentioned, yes, I think the potential it has is quite a bit from my side. The kind of analysis I've made these few months is that directing your lead straight to your WhatsApp DMs will give you more conversions than
Yeah.
sending them to your sales page or anything. So people should take note of that. It's really a powerful medium to do. Now, as we move on, I would want to understand what are some of the key mistakes, genuine mistakes you've made in your business. Okay, some genuine mistakes you made in your business and how it impacted your business? Yeah, what lessons you picked from those mistakes? What would you have done differently if, yeah? So tell us, what mistakes did you make along the way, and how did this shape your business, or probably you as a person, because mistakes are meant to make us better. So what mistakes can you share with us, and how did it impact especially your leadership style for your business?
How did it impact my leadership style? Um,
Yes. It could be a non-leadership related mistake. Okay,
okay.
so just tell us some key mistakes you've made in your business and how it's impacted your business, whether it's impacted you as a person or your business as an organization. Yes.
So when I started with saying you are going to face challenges and
Mm-hmm.
you are going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
You're going to make a lot of mistakes. And sometimes why it's so difficult for me to answer this question is I do not see the mistakes as mistakes. I see
Okay.
them as learning opportunities. And
Mm-hmm.
I make them and I don't even think about it. I I started the business not knowing what I was even doing in the first place. I
Okay.
started the business just it was a hobby. So learning how to run a business has come from making mistakes.
Try
From
and error.
try and error. Yes. I hate for it to have started this way, but if I'm to start another company, it's not going to start that way. There's going to be a
Yeah.
whole market research, going to back all of this. So I would say yes, how I started in itself was a mistake for me. Let me put it that way. I would not have started the business like the way I did. I would have started with a whole market research
Mm-hmm.
done on the business, understand the competition, and know exactly what I was getting myself into. Know the profits, do a whole financial projection, and understand what the business, the kind of trouble and, you know, the kind of things I was going to face and brace myself a little bit better than, how I started this way. So I'll say how I started in the business the first week was one of my first mistakes, but I would say I'll push that on the side because I believe mistakes are made. Like we wouldn't have got here. Sometimes
Yeah.
if you are afraid of making mistakes, you might as well not start at all.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
yes, you might as well not start at all. So um I have made so many mistakes. One other mistake aside not doing a market research, I did some sort of a market research before I started, but it wasn't a good one. It wasn't a good one. But if I were to start another business, I wouldn't bootstrap it like the way I've
Mm-hmm.
done at Akatasia. I wouldn't. I would go in for a loan. I would go in
Oh,
for a loan.
really?
Yes, I'll go in for a loan. I'll go in. That is at the starting point. I'll go in for a loan,
Okay.
especially because when the risk is high, you don't want to use your own money to do it. I think so. Um, I wouldn't have bootstrapped it. I would have gone through venture capital. I'll try to reach to people that I feel will be able to finance the business better. I feel like sometimes people think entrepreneurship as being a lonely road. And I believe that it's not so. You can't start with partners.
Mm-hmm. Hello. We looks like we've lost you, the network. Yeah, you're back. You're back. So you're saying that you can't start with partners.
Yes, you can start with partners. When you do this alone, you make a lot of mistakes on your own. But when you
Okay.
start with partners, you have like a whole board of directors, or you have like partners, people to advise you. Get your range or scope in entering this whole thing becomes better. You get people advising you. You get people bringing in their ideas, and you form teams better that way. If I were to start a business now, I would go that route. I would start with someone that I believe will be of immense value to me and to the business. I will not start alone like I did. And I will start um, you know, with money, with a plan, with a good market research. I will not go the way that I went this time.
Okay. Yes, that's great. That's great for sharing with us. You know, at times it's quite tricky. When you mentioned that you're going to start the business, you would have wanted to start with a loan. But you further went on. You went on to explain what you mean by going for a loan, and you mentioned venture capital or bringing other people in. Most of the time, people are limited with the fact that because they don't have money, they can't start the business. So personally, I advise people money shouldn't be the the thing stopping you from starting your business. There are several ways you can still get your thing done. But also, if you really believe in a structure or your business model, it is great to have partners. It is great to have venture capitalists. In Ghana, here, we don't have a high performing venture capital market. So that is
Yeah.
why it's really a bit of a challenge. And a lot of people, too, do not know much about how you can actually position your business for venture capital. So I think as TGN is around, we could be going into this more and more, reach out to other partners that can help us. You mentioned more like you would have leveraged on additional minds. It is something personally I missed at the start of my business, my first business. And it really cost me. So I know the value of what you're saying. That is why in TGN will be hopefully launching officially in late November this year. And one of the packages or one of the services that we want to offer our members is a virtual advisory board. So the virtual advisory board is basically to help small business owners form more like a pseudo board of directors. So they are going to be board of an advisory board virtual. So you can have your virtual meetings with these people who are quite experienced in their various fields, and you can always call on them at scheduled times or scheduled periods to really help you bring ideas, like plan and push the business like an actual advisory board. Yes. So we believe most of these things are what is really killing and killing small businesses in Ghana and Africa. And we are trying to see how best we could all come together, yes, leverage on each other's resources individually and have mutual growth. So we connect, we learn, and we grow. So it is everything. That's why I keep saying that most of the things you've built, you've run your business for 10 years. So you've really gathered quite a lot. You understand the mistakes you've made, it's really informed you. So whatever you say, you understand, you know what you're saying. How or where do you see Akatasia in the next 5 to 10 years?
In the next 5 to 10 years, we have a plan in place to help it grow. Right now, it's still going to be wedding gowns. Wedding gowns. You mentioned wedding gowns, and no name will ring better than Akitasia Brides.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
we have our location in Jolu, and in 5 to 10 years, we are looking at having a bigger space for our brides to feel more comfortable. Um, and we are looking at increasing our stock when it comes to wedding dresses so that when our brides come in, they will have a much better experience. They will have a
Okay.
wide variety of dresses to choose from. So in 5 to 10 years, we're still going to serve our beautiful Ghanaian women. We want them to feel like this is a once in a life type of experience, and want them to be happy about their wedding days, in an Akitasia gown.
Yep.
That is the plan for now. For 5 to 10 years, we should be one of the biggest bridal shops in West Africa. You mentioned
Wow.
no name but Akitasia Brides. You walk in
Akatasia,
there,
Akatasia.
yes. Yes, you walk in there and you feel special. And you know, when you walk in into an Akatasia bridal shop, you will just know that I'm getting my gown from here.
You just know that you are really an
Yes,
Akatasia.
you'll be an
You're really.
Akatasia bride.
Okay. So, Abina, do you have employees? If yes, how many employees do you have?
We have only two employees currently.
Okay. So,
Yes.
do you have or have you ever experienced any challenges with your employees? Or the employees you work with, like your leadership journey with them has been smooth all the way? Has it been very smooth all the
So,
way?
running a
Hmm.
business in Ghana and having employees. Well, I think that it depends on the kind of expertise you're looking for. When it comes to
Okay.
making the dresses here in Ghana, it is a big challenge because the kind of expertise we have here for manufacturing the dresses, it's really low. The people here are not professional at all, and that's the
Oh,
challenge we face. They are
that's
not
sad to
professional.
hear.
Yes. Well, they have the skill to make the dresses, but because of their
Hmm.
unprofessionalism, it affects the business growth. It
The
affects,
work ethic,
yes,
the conduct.
it affects
Oh,
everything, and
Charlie.
that's one of the challenges we've been having. And the market is growing now in terms of the market pool of, you know, dressmakers, tailors, and all that. The market pool is growing. They are becoming professional, but it's slow. And
Oh, okay.
I really wish whoever is listening to me today, us right here, the fashion schools and all that will add, you know, that element of professionalism to the kind of
Oh, Charlie.
tailors and dressmakers that are coming out these days because
Yeah,
they are
it shouldn't be more of just the skill. There should also
yeah,
added
the whole work
value. Like,
ethic
yeah,
is
yes,
poor. You know, the
really,
Ghanaian
really,
doesn't
really
like sticking to their time, sticking to,
bad,
you know,
bad,
and
bad.
it
There's no
affects
sense of urgency. Like people will
yes,
disappoint you and they don't
yes,
care. They think
yes, yes,
you're
yes.
actually
The
paying them,
sense
but
of
they think they are
entitlement,
doing you a favor.
I'm telling you, the sense of entitlement
It's
is crazy. It's crazy.
ah.
But that is one, and I know every fashion designer is probably listening to us today will attest to this. They will hear this, and they would say, "Yeah,
It's all across industries. It's not only
yeah,
your industry. It's
okay,
across. I have experienced it. I experience it. Other people
mm,
experience it.
okay."
Almost every small business owner you talk to will tell
Mhm,
you the same thing.
mhm,
So it's
mhm.
really a challenge. It's quite a
So
challenge.
building teams in Ghana is terrible.
It's hell.
It's, it's
It's
hell.
hell.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's hell.
Yeah.
Wow, it's hell. It's
But
not an easy thing.
we pray and hope that um, things would change, but I don't know how this would change because the
Mm.
whole thing stems down from how our school system is being, you know, is being the kids from today are not being brought up well. So I don't see how the hope in, you know, things are going to change and all that. But we are hopeful.
Yeah,
We are hopeful.
you see, it's how should I even put it? There are so many factors involved, okay,
Yeah.
and every bit of the structures of society are
Mhm.
contributing to make
Yeah.
people worse than better off.
Yeah.
From parenting, you see, our style of parenting or our family system is actually under threat, serious
Mhm.
threats.
Mhm.
How we
Mhm.
bring up our kids, how our parents brought up, most parents bring up their children, they are
Mhm.
actually destroying like
Yeah.
the very fabric of the African culture, the African
Yeah.
tradition, like a lot of key things that will make a person grow up to be a
Mhm.
wholesome individual is
Yeah.
being destroyed. And that is a huge conversation on another level.
Yeah.
Apart from
Yeah.
that, the other structures too, even some of our churches, our school system is also broken.
Mhm.
our school system, how we
Mhm.
discipline children.
Yeah, yeah,
You get up in
yeah.
town, you see
The
students and the
morals
way they
and
are
the
behaving.
ethics, yeah, the
Every
values. We're not
single
instilling any wholesome values. We are not. We are not doing that. So we have, university people that are standing in for positions in schools are making the same corruption stuff in school, and they are bringing it into our parties and political
Hmm.
parties. Yeah. So how would
Well,
they?
maybe we will get there. Maybe we will get to
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Well, as you're saying, okay, we can only start from our own corner. Okay, brighten the
Mhm.
corner where we are. So if I have my kids, my family,
Yeah,
let me see how best I can impact and make my family
yeah,
better.
yeah,
So that at least if let's assume that every other person is not trained
mhm,
well with the right attitude and work ethic and everything, at least my kids and the
yeah,
people around me, my household, would
yeah.
be the light.
Yes,
Okay, and probably
yes.
they can
There is hope.
extend
I
to
feel
other
there is
people.
hope. Things will change.
Well, let's
Yeah.
see. Okay, yes. So let's look at your work-life balance. We are actually bring coming to the end of our conversation, but
Okay.
let's look at how do you maintain work-life balance as a business owner, especially with the demands of such a growing business. Okay, how do you maintain work-life balance? As we started this conversation, we realized that your kids were on the side doing their own thing. You had to
Yes.
spend a few minutes to correct things here. So
Yeah.
how do you really balance people who are busy, business owners working and all that? It's actually a tussle between your personal life, family home, and the business. So how do you balance that?
Quite a great question. That's something that I was suffering, and it's been a tough place. So work-life balance from when I started working full time
Mm-hmm.
until now, there's been a great difference. You have to
Please
prioritize.
hold on. When you started working full time on Akatasia or some other business?
So when I started working full time with my other business before my other company, before I stopped and
Okay, okay. Where you were working as an employee.
yes, yes,
Okay,
as an
all right,
employee, yes.
all right.
At that point, that's why I was saying you need to know what's important to you. You need to prioritize and know what is important to you. When you've been able to have that priority list, you
Mm-hmm.
can work with that. So for me, God, my family, then probably even me. Yeah. And then, so God, my family, work, and then me. That's what I do. Um, God first. I start my whole day with God. Then family. My kids, my husband, my family are extremely important to me. I will stop doing my job. If they need me, I will prioritize them. That's how I have ranked, and I know that's how I've ranked things in my head.
Family
If
first.
you have that priority list in your head, it will make things a bit much easier for you when it comes to certain decisions. Um, so when I was working with as an employee, family at that time in my life, at that time, I think I was my early 30s, family was more important to me. So I put working as an employee on hold for family, and that was what was important then. As you move through life, I believe that those things can change. you know
Yeah,
you as how I would feel in my 20s will not be how I will feel, or what my priority list will change probably in my 30s and my
yeah,
40s and then my 50s. Okay, so you should know and have this kind of plan. When you have like your life plan or your long-term goals, you should have this priority list done, I believe, and it will help you a lot with work life balance.
yeah.
So then family was more important to me. Now family is still very important to me. But I would say now, because my kids are a bit older, I've given all my time to them and all that. Because my kids are a bit older, I can push in a lot of work, but then on my priority list, they are above work. So if they really need me, I push work away and focus on them. And then I also have like a daily plan where I wake up with this priority list in mind. I I have a plan for my day. I have my schedules. I use a lot Google Calendar a lot. Um,
Mm.
I see how I plan my day, how I put in God, I put in family, I put in work, and I put in me. Even though me is at the bottom, I still schedule time for me. It's really important, even though it's at the
Yeah.
bottom. Without me, those things don't matter, right?
No.
So I have my me times. It is not a lot on my priority list on my Google Calendar. I don't have a lot of sections, sectioned out for me time. But then I make sure once in a week there's that time that I get to myself. So after I have tackled God, family, done everything that I'm supposed to do for the day, I know that I need that 2 hours, 3 hours for me, where I'm
Yeah.
alone. I don't hear kids screaming. I don't hear, there's nothing on business. Nobody's calling me. No customer is calling me. And it's just me time. At that time, I can decide to read a book I like. I can get my own pedicure done. I mean, I can have my me time. I can watch a movie. I can, do whatever it is that I want to do. But that me time should be there. So that's how I balance, work in
Work
life. I
and
call work,
yeah.
yes, in life. I just have that priority list at the back of my mind all the time.
That is great. That is great. I think that all small business owners, all business owners should take note from what you've just said. Most of the time, business owners work and work and work, and we burn out, we break down. At times, you come back home and at times you think and think and think, work, 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 and your mind even ceases to function. Okay, and you be depriving your family of your presence, of other things that you see. The what I experienced when I was growing up with my father was that, unfortunately, he is a great dad, but I think that he spent too much time on his business than on the family, especially me being the eldest child. So I think that I would have been better off. Of course, God has done so much greatness with me and inside me and for me, but I would have still been about 10 times better than how I am now if my father had more time, like placed us more like a bit high up the priority list. So what you're saying is very great. As entrepreneurs, we should really value family. As some people say, family first. Okay, it is very, very important because family is the future. It secures the future. It secures whatever you're doing. Yeah, so it's great. So I have two final questions for you. So the first of these final two is, what final message would you give to aspiring entrepreneurs, okay, who would want to achieve success in their businesses? But they have some doubts, they're afraid of obstacles here and there, they are battling with things. So, what advice will you give to entrepreneurs out there? How can they succeed in their businesses? How can they grow their businesses to get to the level where they really want to get them to? What final um, message would you want to give to such aspiring entrepreneurs?
That's a great question. A great one. Um, I would say they should learn. Never stop learning.
Okay.
Um, that is one of the things that has held me up. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe that if you keep to it, it helps a lot. The more you read, the more you learn, the more you innovate, the more you bring on new ideas into your business, the more you grow, the more you don't become stagnant, the more your business will never die out. Because when you stop learning, you stop being innovative with your business. The moment you stop, not growing as the owner, and not, the business is more of you. So
Mm-hmm.
if you do not read and get yourself abreast with the changing times, things are moving really fast, man. If you
Mm-hmm.
look at um, how AI is taking over, data skills is taking over, how fast things are moving now. If you are not innovative, you're not abreast with the times, you're not being, smart. I would call it, this is smart thinking, to even think of, all the time try to be abreast with the times. You will fall
Yeah.
off. You will fall
Yeah.
off. There's competition everywhere. This is the day and age where information is so easy to come by. So easy. You go on YouTube, you go on wherever, there's free information. So people are being smart. A lot of people are being smart than, even just 10 years back. Things were not like now. Things are changing, people are growing. So if you do not innovate with the times, let me put it that way. You're not smart with the times, you are not putting in the work to just set time aside. You could be focused on your business. If it is sewing, you're sewing. If it's whatever it is you're doing in your business, you could be doing that. But
Yeah.
if you're not innovating, you're not changing with the times, you're not, growing by learning new things, you will be cut off. And I believe that that small element is why a lot of businesses also don't grow. The owners are not growing themselves, so it's hard for them to catch up with the times. And things are growing really fast. I'm saying, not to say that you have to be moving right at the speed of how everything's else, you will get bent. You'll be bent
Yeah.
up in the process. But just make sure you are learning and being up to speed. Quite, just make sure you're learning what is abreast with the times, and just make sure that you're not falling off. And that will help your business stay in business all the time. We've been in business for 10 years, and I believe it's so because um, we are making sure whatever the business needs to stay innovative, we are doing that.
That's great. That's great. Thank you for that advice, the final message. Yes. So, the very final question for you is, what is your secret to success? What would you say is your secret to success? However, you want to put it. Would you like to share with us?
Oh yes, why sure, why not? I don't believe there's any secret
Mhm.
to success. You've used the term. People think there is something that the rich are doing that the poor are not doing, and it's a secret they are just not bringing out. So because of that, we are not that at that level. People even do that a lot. And if you see YouTube videos, 55
Yeah.
secrets to becoming a millionaire.
Yeah.
Those are
Become
just
a
giving.
millionaire in 2 days. Back
Yeah.
at the university, we used to organize a lot of programs. So yeah, so, it's one of those business that we used to do, and at times you would do a program and you just title it. We used to also watch a lot of motivational video. So it got a time, my friends and I, Charlie, we learn Jim Rohn, Brian Tracy. We're watching these motivational videos and all that, but still, yeah, bro, Charlie, things are not
There's no
turning for us.
secret. There's
The
no
tables are
secret
not turning.
anywhere. I tell
So,
you. Now, even in
yes,
this space and time of, in this 2024 new is a new age, I tell you. In this technological world, there's no secret. The only secret is do the work. The work is there, the information is there. Search it. Now they you just have to search it. search for it online, look for it. If you want to open a business, type how do I open a business? And the list just comes out. There's even Chat GPT, man. There's AI helping us now. You don't have to think anymore. If you want
Yeah,
strategies on how to build a business, just Google it, man. And you get the answers. But the only thing that sets you apart is doing the work. You can have the plan. If you're not following it, you're not getting there. The only difference between someone who makes it and someone who doesn't is the other person gets off their ass, and they get the work done. That's all.
that's great. It's been really wonderful having you on Growth Conversations, Abena. It's been really, really
Really,
wonderful.
you too,
And we've
Kwame. You're
picked a
doing a great
lot
job.
of,
Yeah.
sorry?
I said it was really great meeting you too, and you're doing a marvelous job with TJ, and I can't wait to see the numbers coming
Yes,
in.
thank you for that. I mean, we are just trying. You see, we've been through it. We faced the challenges coming up, starting our own businesses, and personally realizing that these are the challenges businesses are facing in Ghana, and this is how I think we can. Personally, I believe that you see, we can get to a point where one of the biggest solutions to our challenges as small business owners is working together. That's all. Okay. So if businesses work together, if we all come together, we share our experiences with each other, we leverage on our resources, help each other, even to a certain point, we can get to a point where if you need a loan to push into your business, you wouldn't have to go to any bank. We ourselves could put ourselves together, create a fund amongst ourselves, see how best we are going to be able to push funding or money into a business and also help people manage the business. So I believe that we will get there, as we are saying. We all just have to work together and see. I also think and hope that a lot of people who've watched us today have learned quite some valuable things from this conversation. Personally, I've picked out just that I identify with most of the things that you've said because they are true. I've experienced them, I've lived them. So I believe that other people too have learned a lot and is going to help someone out there build and grow their business. So thank you so much for having the time to be with us and sharing this with us. Please, if you just joined us or if you joined us late, you can always still catch this pre-recorded recorded version, so you can catch a replay of this recorded version. And Abuna, kindly tell us, mention your social media handles. Since you don't have a functional website yet, we will skip
Yeah.
that. If you have your social media handles, you can mention it so that we put it on the page for people who would come later to watch the video find you.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's Akatasia Brides, Akatasia. Akatasia Brides. On Facebook,
Akatasia
it's Brides on
Bright.
Facebook.
So Akatasia Bright on
Yes,
Facebook.
Bride on Facebook, and on Instagram is Akatasia_Brides on Instagram.
Okay, so
And
I'm typing it now. Facebook is Akatasia Brights. Bright with
yes,
an S, right?
yes, yes.
Okay. And Instagram
And
is
on Instagram
Instagram
is
is
Akatasia_Brides on Instagram.
underscore
Bride
brights on
Instagram.
Instagram.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so let's share it on the screen. So if you want to find Akatasia Brights, you go to Facebook Akatasia Brights, Akatasiabrides.
Yes.
That's on
Yes.
Facebook. And
Yes.
Instagram is
Yes.
Akatasia underscore brights
Yes.
underscore
And we're on
brights.
TikTok too. It's fun over there on TikTok as an
So
Akatasia_Brides.
okay, so let me see. Let me put that out too. TikTok is Akatasia
_Brides.
underscore
Brides.
bright. Yes.
Yes.
So kindly go to TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and follow. Add, yes, follow Akatasia Brides. It's fun out there, as she said.
Yes,
You find a lot
yes.
of content, a lot of stuff about Akatasia Brides in Ghana. Yes. So if you know a sister, if you know a brother who is yet to do the do, you understand what I mean? Do the do. If you're a lady out there, if you're a gentleman out there and you're getting ready, it's Christmas season, it's ending of the
Yeah.
year, and a lot of you guys would want to Charlie tie the knot and make it
Yeah.
memorable.
I
Look
guess
no
the
further
guys
than
should get
Akatasia Bride.
busy.
The guys do what?
The guys should get busy.
Yes, 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 yes. They should get
yeah,
busy.
seal the deal with a ring.
Yeah, Kale. They should commit fast, 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 fast. And they shouldn't be scared too. Don't be scared. Just talk
Yes,
to
yes,
Akitasia Brides. Yes.
yes.
Kindly give us your business contact number so that people who would want to quickly contact you can have it. So what's your number?
So our number is 0240
0240
66
66
67
67
33.
33. So if you want to reach out to Akatasia Brides,
You
you
can
have
send
it
us a
here. The
WhatsApp
number. Yes,
too.
so WhatsApp
All
and
on WhatsApp.
calls. If you call and you are not able to reach them, because these days, uh, what MTN is doing to us. Yes, so if you reach out and it's not going through, just get to WhatsApp 0240 666 733 0240 666 78. No, I shouldn't mention it that way. That 666 is quite scary. So that so let's say 02406 733. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for spending time
So
with us
much.
on Growth Conversations. This is TGN. You can go to tgn.africa, www.tgn.africa. Okay. So, who is Nana K?
Okay,
Oh,
thank
okay.
you. We're
Nana,
expecting you.
Nana K says his wife will contact you soon. It shouldn't be soon. We don't like soon, Nana K. No, it's not about soon thing. Bia. Just pick the number. Here's the number. I'm showing the number again. You be the man. You see, don't say your wife will do what? Don't do that.
You should
Pick the
contact
number.
you and ask for him.
Just pick your phone right now and call. Charlie,
Yes.
and you get a thing done with. Why my wife will contact you to know. Munja is that. Yes. So, guys, thank you so much. It's been a wonderful time. Quite insightful conversations we've had with Akatasia Bright. So every Tuesday we run this session during lunchtime. You can catch a replay anytime on YouTube, Kwame Brimpong, okay, Facebook Kwame Brimpong, and LinkedIn to Kwame Brimpong. You can catch us. The replay will always be there. You can also go to www.tgn.africa and find out more about the Growth Network, tgn.africa. If you want to join our community, just go www.tgn.africa/membership. You see all our memberships groups there. But TGN will be officially launching in November ending. There are a lot of goodies for small business owners that are coming. So watch out, share our links, share our content with other business owners that you have. We are now starting and we are trying to build the strongest, the most efficient community for small business owners in this part of our world. We believe that working together is the way forward. We can all succeed. There's so much abundance in this world that we can all help each other succeed. So thank you so much for having the time with us. God bless you and catch you same time next week. This has been the Growth Conversations. My name is Kwame Brempong, and our guest has been Mrs. Abena Obuba of Akatasia Brights. God be with us all. Have a great time. Bye bye.
Bye.